All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council Port Environment and Sustainability Meeting. It's 6:31, so we will begin with our roll call. Okay, I have an excused absence from member Goldfarb, Gwen Henry,
Present.
Pat Nave,
Here.
and Thomas Norman is here, and I think Jason Herring's also excused. Let's move into the general public comment. Is there any general public comment on the non-agenda items? Okay, I see Gwen has her hand up first. Gwen, please.
So at Peck Park on December 7th will be a another Friends of Peck Park or Friends of Peck Park Canyon that is going to be doing another restoration event. Pat, let Diana know that I will have the flyer finished tonight. And hopefully, sent out to the Chamber of Commerce and things like that. And another item, we have elections coming up. January 6th. You know, I gave the wrong date there. It was what was the date of the next Peck Park Canyon? It's January 7th.
Oh, Diana? Diana?
Oh, don't.
There's one tomorrow.
She's in the next room. Probably appreciate the reminder.
Anyway, January 6th is the deadline for anyone who wants to be a candidate for neighborhood council to get their application in. So there's going to be a push for advertising the positions. There's 11 available, and we really want to get them out and get the information out to the community. So if you have any candidates or anybody that you think might be interested in the neighborhood council and being on the board, we have 11 positions, plenty of room. Some are local to the area that you live in, kind of the tract area, and then others are at large, non-governmental position, and there's a business position available. So we really hope that we can get more people. Hi, Diana. If you could talk about the Peck Park Canyon, Friends of Peck Park Canyon event as well, because we're in public comment.
So what was the question?
If you could talk about the Friends of Peck Park Canyon events coming up, because this is public comment.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have 2 cleanup events in Peck Park Canyon. I gotta get the calendar out though. There'll be at the native plant garden, and it'll be to weed and also to plant additional plants. Saturday, actually, Gwen, you've got the dates.
Yeah, but I
think they're the 11th and the 19th. We just got home a couple hours ago. I haven't.
Oh, you did? Oh my goodness.
Actually, about an hour ago, and then we went to dinner and got home.
I thought you guys were home for about a week. Here, let me bring that up.
I think they're the 11th and the 19th of January.
January 4th. I see January 4th and January 12th.
Okay, see, I don't remember.
Okay. So anyway, just so you know, the flyers are coming. I'm going to have them done by this evening. And
Okay.
I'm going to make Instagram and hopefully send it to the Chamber of Commerce as well. So there's your public comment.
All right, very good. Charles, did you have anything you wanted to say in public comment? Thank you for joining us. Okay, and I see we have Diana and we have Pat. Anything else for general public comment?
Actually, I do.
Oh,
The Vincent Thomas Bridge meeting on Mesa, there were a lot of people there and they had a lot to say. There's one more opportunity coming up It's going to be in Long Beach. I strongly urge everyone to go there. Also, there is a community advisory committee, and it has been opened up to anyone to participate in that advisory committee. Our president has been attending them regularly. This is an extremely important role. And if anyone can join those, we really need them. And I'm hoping that we can spread the word to valuable people who really know a lot about what's going on. The Vincent Thomas Bridge, of course, being closed. Right now, this is the last time to talk about the transportation aspect of it, the rerouting, and really give them everything that they need to know. So, and there's also, if you look on social media, I'm going to try to get it up on our own website, but there is a scan code for taking a survey. Say everything you need in that survey is really, really critical, and try to get that word out for that too. I can't express that enough.
Yeah, I went to that till they stopped speaking, and I think I made it towards the last questions and took the materials, did the survey. So I would recommend people look at that and get the word out on the survey. Are you planning to join that advisory committee, Gwen?
I have to honestly say I don't have the availability.
Okay.
I would very much like to, but I'm in the
Just
midst
wondering.
of the election and everything
Oh, you got
else.
plenty to do. Just if you were on it, wanted us to know that and
I-
note that so we have a resource.
Yeah,
No,
we
I saw a
need,
lot of people from Northwest were there. Our youth member was there, like Adrian was there. John I saw was there. Who was in front of you? You were sitting by Lori. So, it was a really good turnout, good comments. I personally thought the state officials looked like they're just biding their time, listening and just getting through it. It felt a little performative for the parts I was at, in terms of the questions. The public was, asked good questions, and it doesn't seem like there's any flexibility or maybe willingness to acknowledge the reality that I don't think they have a very good transportation plan because of all the construction going, right? That the timing does not seem to be optimal, but I think they have a schedule they want to get to, and they don't look like they want to speed up the project. So that's kind of how I felt. But if we continue giving feedback and, in fact, there are some things they do differently, perhaps they will listen. McCosker's representative was pretty pointed in his remarks about how even our council member, Tim McCosker, that office feels often ignored by the state. So, Pat.
Is there a link to the survey?
I
yeah,
don't have that
actually,
handy, but I'll try to look for that before we're done here.
Pat, I have been sharing it a lot. The main site for it actually has the survey. If you scroll down, you can even get to it by your phone, but I'll send that to you later. Let's see if I
Okay, thank
can
you.
find it right now.
That'd
Actually,
be great.
I do have it. I've kept it as a favorite. Here it is. It's okay, I will copy it. It's a very odd address. You ready? Hold on, I've got to here. It's virtual event room, all one word, virtualeventroom.com/Caltrans/VTB. And when you get there, it has all the information. It's still, if the pop-up comes up for the December 12th meeting, but there will be one more coming up in Long Beach. They haven't yet determined the location, but the survey is somewhere down below. Let's see if we can find it. There is a scan code as well.
Virtualeventroom.com.
Here it is. Here it is. It's let's see if I can get that to work. No,
My phone is
it's
on.
not gonna.
Virtualeventroom.com.
There we go. Yeah, oh, you got it, yeah.
And
Virtualeventroom.com, Caltrans/VTB.
yeah, I see it up there,
And
the line.
yeah,
I copied it down, thanks.
I've literally been sharing it with Long Beach pages, Torrance pages. I even think it should be shared with people in Glendora, Norwalk, you name it, because it's going to have ripple effects.
Well, what is the, what is it that we hope is gonna come out of this?
Well, the concern is, for example, the city, there doesn't seem to be very much coordination with the city aspect to it. Now, the Caltrans themselves are the only people that were taking comments. The sheriff was there, and they were there to hear comments, because they will be, their intent is to be the accountability for trucks to be using the committed routes that they have for the detours, and not to cut through neighborhoods. That is their main goal, but it requires more than that. Now they're only responsible for those routes, those reroutes that they're doing. Oh, and the one that they surprised us with. Now on this site, you can also look at their official presentation. Now in their official presentation, there is a new graphic that has not been seen before, and that is their redesign of how they want to route trucks in and around the Gaffey 110 entryway. Right around there, you should see that graphic. There's a lot to say about it. And I think, and just that alone, I believe people should be on the community advisory board, really discussing that new graphic that they threw out on everybody. But but in regards to the rest of the areas, like all of us take shortcuts through Lomita. There's that weird little slash street that's really rough. It's got potholes everywhere, but I've used that as a shortcut. All of those are city responsibility resurfacing. And they weren't at the meeting, which is concerning. Another thing that was an aspect, and actually I'm sad that Vic isn't still participating in this. He and I commented on how the impacts will be to going west from Western. And he detailed a lot of different intersections. I detailed a few things, but it's going to impact people getting out in every conceivable way. But the one aspect that I was concerned about, that they did reply to, so I got a little bit personal with it. My mother had a full-on heart attack on Christmas Day dinner. And if it wasn't for the fact that the 110 freeway, there was no traffic, it would have been a different outcome. She was fine. But I can see emergency services going to the Harbor UCLA is our trauma. That's our trauma hospital. That's where Tiger Woods went after he flew off off the road. That's the trauma hospital for the area. The way traffic has been, if the emergency services can't get to that trauma location, if there's any crisis of any kind, they've got to really accommodate this. And the response was, with that, they had just started talking with emergency services, ambulances and things like that, and the paramedics regarding that very specific situation, but they just started the conversation. I'm concerned about the entire coordinated emergency efforts when there is a crisis at the port. They have the special fire teams, the chemical teams, those kind of things. What will the outcomes be during this closure? What are their routes going to be like? Will they be able to access and leave safely? You know, the lithium battery was one thing, but I don't know if anybody remembers the natural gas vehicle that exploded in Wilmington. That took out I think it took out 3 firemen. Severe. I really would like to find out what the outcome was for those 3 men. But you know, things like that happen, and I just don't see them communicating properly. But Ray has been to all of these meetings. He has continued to go to the technical meetings as well, you know, the other ones, the other meetings for the other advisory committees, in order to give valued commentary. But we need more representation. Really do.
Okay. Who's heading up, getting people out for that? Is that you? Is it Ray?
Ray is really very informative. I'm only throwing it out there in social media and pushing it. I was going to push out a survey, the survey code on social media as well.
When's the next meeting?
Sorry, I've got it. I've actually got the image on my
The next
phone.
meeting.
Give me a moment. The next one is up. Darn it. I'm gonna have to look at my Facebook. No, that's the 12th.
That's the old one.
Hold on. I actually, Vincent Bridge. Here it is. Posts. Here we go. Here it is. January 9th. January 9th is the next one. It will be in Long Beach, and that's to be determined, the location. They have not yet.
That's 6 to 8. Yeah, okay, 6 to 8.
6 to 8 in Long Beach. Location to be determined. The survey critical. So that right there, the meeting materials, there is a presentation. Hold on. I'm not sure if that's the right one.
Oh,
They have them up to date through December.
Go up more, because there it is, the traffic management plan. This presentation right here shows what they've been showing to everybody. And I hope this is the most recent one that they sent, that they showed to us. There is a graphic. You really have to see.
So there's lots of information, you know, on the site, you know, saying we're just in public comment. The one nexus to, you know, the core of this committee's work, just wanted to draw to our attention, the public's attention. You'll see in red the different construction schedules that are in conflict with this. So Caltrans is in black, and if you scroll over, you see that'll go from 10/25 to 3/27 scheduled. And there's 2 port projects that overlap, right? The SR 47 Harbor Boulevard interchange and the Navy Way interchange project, both overlap. And
Western.
the fact you've got Alameda, you know, those are city of LA, and then you've also got the city of LA, Anaheim. So it's going to be interesting how, you know, how they are going to convince folks that they can mitigate the impact here. But I think this, you know, we should agendize this more specifically too, so we get people to, you know, have a follow-up conversation on that. And that's probably something we should put on the January schedule to keep us moving along. You know, as co-chair too, Gwen, you know, it's appropriate to talk about this here, so I guess I will cede any, co-chair time I have for things that, attended. There was no meeting with the chamber or other neighborhood council presidents. So is there anything else outside of Vincent Thomas Bridges co-chair, you wanted to bring to our attention for your co-chair report? Before we-
Not at the moment.
Okay, anybody have any contact with elected officials, departments we want to update that we have none in attendance to recognize or get reports from? And has anybody, did you attend? I'm pretty sure Pat didn't. Anybody attend the Harbor Commissioner meeting? Any comments on that? Go ahead, Gwen.
Well, get the response from Pat.
Sorry. Say again?
Did you think Pat wanted to respond or?
No,
Oh, Yeah,
Mm.
did Jason, has Jason been attending the port president's meeting? Has anyone?
Well, no, the port president meeting was dark this month, so I've known nothing to
Oh.
report.
he's overseas right now anyway.
The only other aspect that actually I just thought of one thing. The Department of Biodiversity, which is attached to the Department of Sanitation. Mosto Jerry is the lead in that department. And it's been, we really want there are different people who are very interested in getting Tim McOsker to meet with him and promote a lot of the initiatives that are overlying initiatives, whole city initiatives that the Department of Biodiversity was created to help guide the mayor. The mayor doesn't even have this on her radar. This was something that was initiated during Garcetti's time, and the Green New Deal was the green plan for him, whole series of projects, and it really needs to be revived and given attention for Karen. So.
With that, kind of going down the agenda, if we wanted to discuss West Harbor, we could. I put it on there. If we wanted to discuss Outer Harbor Cruise Terminal, which we've discussed before, we could. The one I added at Pat's request, we could maybe start with. So let's talk about the DEIR and the Gibson Boulevard truck parking lot. I'll kind of hold that up here. And I'll recognize Pat if you just wanted to introduce what you wanted us to look at, work on, consider, perhaps propose a plan of action for our committee.
Yeah, this is a project that's been in the works for a while. We've commented on it a couple of times. One when it was scoping the project, and one when the preliminary work came out, and they actually quadrupled the size of the project. Now the DEIR is out. It really doesn't look like they've done anything except published what they published before. And they published, and this time they added in all of the comments they received from, various groups, including our neighborhood council. The comments on it are due on January the 10th. So I'm not sure when is our next neighborhood council meeting.
Let's see, our next neighborhood council meeting will be on January. The 14th. So after the 10th.
After the period of time closes, okay. Well, let's do this. I don't have anything prepared for now. What I would like to do is to write up a letter emphasizing a couple of things. One is that we propose to adopt our prior comments again, because they really haven't changed anything. Adopt the comments particularly that was put forth by Jesse Marquez and about 15 groups that he's rounded up, including some from UCLA and some others. And it's quite a dynamic letter that they submitted before, but also add two other things to it. One is pointing out, with the Board of Harbor Commissioners in mind, that the applicant proposes to build this project after getting clearances from Caltrans, Department of Toxic Substance Control, the City of Los Angeles Engineering Department, Fire Department, and so forth. They haven't done any of those things yet. It's a novel approach. It says approve our environmental work because we're going to do all the environmental work in the future. I've never seen anything like that. And then the other thing I would like to emphasize to the Board of Harbor Commissioners is that when they sold the strip of land along the west side of Gibson Boulevard, which gave access and value to this property because it was landlocked. It's stuck between Gibson Boulevard and the freeway, the east side of the 110 freeway. There was a strip of land they couldn't cross because it was owned by the port. Well, the port was approached by the owner of the landlocked property to sell it, and the port agreed to sell it, and they did it in conformance with what the city charter requires. They put advertisements out for bid and that sort of thing, and they got at least the value, the appraised value of it. But it was known then what the applicant wanted to do with the property, and the environmental work should have been done at that time, because you do the environmental work at the earliest possible feasible time when you can judge the environmental impacts. So they shouldn't have sold it until they did the environmental work. That would be my position, or to advocate to our neighborhood council. And in fact, the chief counsel for the port at that time made quite a deal out of saying, this isn't the project, this isn't the project, we're not violating CEQA. Well, of course they were, as far as I'm concerned. It's very similar to what the port did on China shipping and has gotten them into trouble all these years. So I would like to suggest that I will write up a cover letter that adds those two items, that it's really not a real environmental document, it's just a commitment to do environmental work in the future. And second, that the port has not complied with CEQA because they didn't do it, the environmental work, at the earliest time when it was feasible to do so. And then if I would circulate that letter, and then one of you who is on the board, the neighborhood council, would have to take it in. Well, two things would have to happen. One is, since the comment period closes on the 10th and the neighborhood council does not meet until the 14th, we would have to send a comment letter in, and I guess I would have to do it for my own signature, or one of you could do it, that's on the board, with the note that we were taking it to the neighborhood council on the 14th for consideration by the entire council. And then it would have to go in as a motion and a second, because it's not coming out of committee. Or we could have a committee meeting between now and the 14th and consider the committee. But at this point, it's not such a big complicated deal. I would say let's just take it in and somebody make a motion from the floor to have it considered. And of course, it would be circulated to the neighborhood council beforehand to be on the agenda. So what do you all think?
Well, it's important, we'll call a special meeting. I just wanted to do a clarifying question, and I'll recognize Gwen. So can you direct us to the part where it says they aren't doing any environmental audit, until they finish it, right? I skimmed through it, looked through it, couldn't find that right now, so I'd like to know that. If we do want to act, we can have a special meeting, with just one purpose, one agenda, to do that before January.
Uh,
But yeah, I'd love some direction on that one point, because that does seem problematic. Because as I'm reading it, what they're telling us is there's no environmental impact, right? So there's no mitigation necessary, nothing that needs to be done.
Well, they're saying that, and they're also saying that before they will proceed, they will get their permits from Caltrans to carve into the support. For them to be able to get 8 acres of level land out there, and they say in the document they're going to have to carve into the bank on the 110 freeway. Well, in order to give those permits, Caltrans is going to have to do environmental work, creating impacts and so forth. And when you get to the section on, you can pull out, there you go. There's the diagram showing the cuts that they propose to make. There's slope and grading, so there's quite a lot of grading in there that's done too. So they say in the document that before they proceed, they will get the grading permits from the city of Los Angeles, as well as Caltrans. And it's hard to, I don't see how they can get a grading permit until they have an environmental analysis of what the grading impact is going to be. On the support structure, that they're talking about a rammed earth wall along there. Also acknowledge that there's toxic substances in there from the drilling that they've done, and they say that they before they do the work, they will get permits from the Department of Toxic Substance Control to do that work. Well, that's an environmental assessment as well as an engineering assessment. So those are the kinds of things I had in mind. Also, they're very weak on the. There's no real traffic analysis of it. We raised a number of traffic questions as questions in our comment, our earlier comments, and they haven't responded to any of those things. Like since it's a right turn only out onto Gibson, how are they going to get around? They're going to come down to this is an example. They're going to come down to Channel Street, turn right, and then go up Gaffey Street. And if so, where's the assessment of that? They haven't done any of those intersection assessments or the VMT assessments either. You get a VMT assessment on the workers who are going to be employed there, the 2 or 3, but they haven't done anything with respect to the trucks that are going to be using the facility. I think if we can find a way to phrase it also, I would add one thing, and that is when this project was first proposed, you recall we were in the COVID and post-COVID era when you had huge backlogs and you had containers all over the place and all sorts of bottlenecks. And this was sold and advocated and proposed on the basis of alleviating some of those bottlenecks and traffic problems. Those problems seem to have gone away now. So I'm really wondering, I'd like to see the Board of Harbor Commissioners say, hey, this is not on port property anymore since we sold part of the property, but we have responsibility for the environmental work here because it's going to become part of the port master plan. And what you're really doing is screwing the traffic patterns and impacts on the local neighborhoods and everything. We're not sure we want to do this.
Okay. Gwen, you've been waiting very patiently.
In regards to the timeline of getting a response in, what was was it just the standard 60 days that they gave?
You know, I don't recall, they might have, I think they might have added 15 on there. Yeah, the public review period, 11/15 to
So
1/10.
did we,
It is a 60-day, it is a 60-day period.
so somebody did already ask for an extension?
No, I think we can, not that I know of it.
Because we,
There might have been a 30-day original period. I don't know, but clearly 15 additional days would take, relieve a lot of the stress. And might relieve a lot of the stress on Wilmington also. If they
because
want
we still have that, we have that constant request to make these 90 days period.
Right.
And we can still ask Ray to reach out to the port to get a little more time on this.
I would say
Um,
try that first, because then that gives us a lot more flexibility in what we do.
So
So
let's agree to do that. Are you talking to Ray a lot with the election? Can you do that as co-chair? Ask Ray to extend it, because interestingly, if they would have given us 60 days, it would have been fine, because that would be 115 a day after our meeting, right? They
yeah,
gave us
they are
50
standardly
days.
not giving us, much time. You know, they release these things near the holidays. And, and that's why we created a rule that would allow the president to automatically, upon request the port add, up to 90 days for a response. So that we could, so that we don't have to go through that extra process of getting it through committee to, to ask him, and vote as a board, all of that nonsense. So,
It was brought up at the last meeting, and Augie said, well, we're probably not going to do that anymore, but we can still ask. So I'll ask you to do that.
probably not going to do it.
But officially,
Really?
okay. But let's take a vote, but just to make sure, is everyone in favor of asking our president to give us the full 90 days, or at the very least, give us until the 15th, so we have an ability for our board to take an action?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so
Yes.
that's unanimous. So that'll be an action item. And then, any member, Pat, whomever, members of the public, Charles, please feel free to email, contact me as you get some material, draft documents. I'm happy to look at that. I'm happy to set up, meeting and draft things in person on Zoom. So we can, have something, helpful, because I do think that this is just getting kind of rushed through. I think we've raised issues before. I don't feel heard. And so I think it's incumbent on us to bring up the issues, traffic in particular, right? Where's the traffic plan? It's bad precedent to just let these things go without that. You look at in contrast, like West Harbor, there's been a lot of feedback, and I have met with different people from that company. I've seen them speak in from chamber forums to other forums. They seem to be doing a pretty good job of trying to respond to the issues, and I feel people are being heard. And some of these projects, which are just as important and more impactful, I don't feel that that's deference is being given to the public. So
I did have another question. This project, I can't imagine that it's being anticipated to begin anytime before the Vincent Thomas Bridge is completed. Is this years from now, years and years and years from now, like a decade? Or is this?
not that long.
2-year period.
Oh, well, this is going to be added to that whole list?
Yeah, if it wasn't already.
Oh my God, no. That right there, that's absurd.
Yeah, if you.
That right there is the number one comment. This is completely incompatible with the Vincent Thomas Bridge closure and the rerouting.
Right.
I mean, absurd. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's a kind of, for your enlightenment, you might take a look at Appendix A of the DEIR, because comment letters, typically what you do when the public makes comments on a project is you print the comment letter, and then you print your response to the comment, along with it. They didn't do that with any of the comments. And the comments particularly of the litigants or the potential litigants, I'll call them that, in Wilmington, was a very detailed, very professional letter. There's no response to it at all by the applicant.
Here's the our comment letter from December 11th, 2023, which we were all in this committee back then, signed by Ray, and no response, right? It's just listed, and so that's, you know, not responsive.
Right,
Yeah.
they printed a letter.
You know, we had the letter, so we knew that. We see other people's letters, and there's
Gina Martinez. Yeah, I would love to see Gina's.
Yeah, I sent a text to both Gina and to Jesse Marquez from the road, you know, when I was out there asking them what their plans were. And unfortunately, the number I sent it to for Jesse isn't a working number anymore. I gotta find out how to get hold of him now.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He was at the VTB meeting. He may show up at the Long Beach one. Maybe
Well,
I'll try to make an effort to go there.
I'll get it from Gina in the meantime.
Mm,
I have a
mm.
call in here as well.
The numbers that I have for him also are not effective.
Mhm.
Oh, here's Augie's. Augie did respond to one. The standard release time, you know, is 30 days after an extended review of 45. They won't be extending it anymore.
Oh,
So.
but that was in 2023.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that's kind of the.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's absurd. Yeah, no, we have that standing letter. It's been given by all of the neighborhood councils that I know of on record, the Wilmington, Northwest Coastal, Central.
I feel
It absolutely has to be a 90-day period.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel fairly confident that the present board of harbor commissioners with Lee Williams and Perez and Roy Ball, Howard, I don't know what name she's using now, but I think that those people are particularly sensitive to public comment, and there's no harm to anybody. It's not even on port property, and it's not going to impact their schedule. They don't have any of their permissions from Caltrans, DTSC, city engineering, or anybody yet, so they're not hurt by an extension of time for comment. Really.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've discussed that. The next thing on the agenda, just wanted to note, if anybody's able to, we're welcome to attend the Central and Coastal. You know, we don't have an official joint meeting, but on January 6th at 6 p.m. they've been having Central's been kind of having a meeting where sometimes people show up. I think I'm going to be doing my trip on that day. I get on an airplane at 4, so I won't be available. Would encourage any of you to attend if you wanted to stay in touch with what they're doing and, you know, think about the wisdom of a joint committee. And then as we've been thinking about the future of this committee, which is normally pretty small, I'm so glad we have quorum today, but we should also in January, you know, think of, is this the best date and time? We've discussed, you know, if we did have a joint, you know, meeting, this time conflicts with other neighborhood councils, but maybe we have flexibility, or if we add people to the board, you know, we can look at that. And we should think about, we are required to have an in-person meeting once a year. So I'd love your input on, you know, would you want that to be January? Would you like to wait till we get closer to the summer to go meet down at the old city hall, or when would you like to do our next in-person meeting?
I think maybe, well, I really don't care one way or the other. My 2 cents. Hey, let me ask you a question. Is Central noticing their meeting? Is it a Brown Act meeting?
Well, it's just their regular meeting, which I've just been attending. Yeah, the one that's noticed. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah, I really have been wanting to go. I just
It
a
used to
little
be at the library.
overextended.
It used to be at the library, now the library's closed, so I have missed it since they've changed their location. But the
Yeah.
couple that I went to, it is interesting, it's a lot of these issues I think affect all of us. I know we have a committee member who disagrees and thinks we should only do Northwest. Not speaking here today, but thinking I've heard very clearly from one member there that no interest in doing that, and we spend too much time thinking about other areas. I personally do believe that, that the whole San Pedro community affects the residents and of Northwest, right? So I think it's all germane, and the more we work together, the better. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think we'll keep January then online, and I'd like a meeting where Jason and Craig are present to kind of try to schedule the in-person one rather than just spring that on them, so they can have a little bit more input into when the best time is. I'm guessing March, April, May might be a good time to do that. We're technically in compliance because we did do some in person, Gwen and I remember when we did the hybrid, so we're okay.
Yes.
But I know it's a real sensitive issue among some of our members. They really like to be in person. So as I'm trying to build out the committee and encourage members to join our committee, including the youth member, I made a good pitch for him. I think Gwen was there, right? He picked issues committee, trying to help us to get a little bit stronger, because I want to praise him. He was at all the events, right? He really does seem to be really enthusiastic. So
Who is this?
I think that's good.
The new youth rep.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, he's something.
yeah.
Well, we're at the end of the agenda. So any closing comments from Charles or other attendees? I see, Diana's pre-entered the meeting. So any closing comments?
Wearing it.
Not really.
You have your clothes on and what?
This is being recorded and transcribed. So keep everything PG. All right.
Talking about Charles Henry.
Hey, Charles, you unmuted yourself, please.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I see Charles appeared to unmute himself. Please, if you have anything to say, Charles.
Okay.
Does anybody know Charles?
All right, and there was no students here that needed credit or anything that I saw. So with that, I think I will adjourn the meeting. I will stop the recording.
And